except your selfless self. There's no God, no Brahman, no Atman, no Paramatman, no master. Nothing is there. How you were prior to beingness and how you'll be after leaving the body is the reality. The something that's appearing in that nothing is the illusion. Prior to having a body, you were formless. After leaving the body, you were formless. You are always going to be formless. Right now, you're using a body form, but you're the formlessness using the body form in the illusion of form that's arising from the attributeless unmanifest.
And to do that, doing the mantra correctly is simply remaining with oneself as one was prior to beingness, correct? Like basically that's what
doing the mantra now at this stage, I would say, is listening, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, listening or paying attention to the one that's listening to the mantra as it's being recited. In other words, don't activate yourself as a doer of mantra. Be the listener, listening to the mantra as it's being naturally done in the breathing, but you, the selfless self, using body as an instrument to hear the mantra running. Instead of a doer doing the mantra, you're now observing the mantra, listening to the mantra. Inviting the attention of the invisible listener has been done at some state we've been doing this mantra now for 1 year. If you're even, if you're involved in this mantra, then now the invisible listener, you're paying attention from the point of the invisible listener, listening to the mantra being recited, because you're no longer a body using mantra to try and invite the attention of the invisible listener. You are now the invisible listener listening to the mantra as it's being recited in the form. You're no longer body. You're the invisible listener listening to the mantra, just like as if this body was a flute and you're listening to the musical notes coming from the flute. That's as involved as you are with doing the mantra. From the position of the listener. Detaching from this body as something of importance. It's an instrument. Just like the flute produces music, the body can produce things, move around and do this kind of stuff. But you're the invisible, unidentified, anonymous identity, the invisible listener that's using this body form. But now you're to consider that this form is nothing more than an instrument, and you're the invisible, anonymous, unidentified identity, the invisible listener, using this instrument. This is no longer the label of John or Andrew or Trish or Kathleen. These are just the instruments that we are using. We're no longer concerned with how the instrument does or if thoughts come about the instrument. We are remaining as our selfless self that is using the instrument. But that's all it is. And you give it as much thought as you would using a fork or using a hammer, or you use a hammer, you pay attention to the hammer, but you're not so involved in the hammer. Any thoughts about this is discarded, because now you're the witness of these thoughts. You're in the invisible formlessness on which these thoughts are appearing, and you formlessly can use the instrument of mind, ego, intellect to pick a thought and then activate it through this instrument of body and then throw it away. That's it. As of now, you have no interest in the form that you're using other than it's a useful instrument for you who are formless, and a formless something has to use some sort of a instrument in order to move about. Just like you see in the movies where they have those hands and they're mechanical hands and they're working through there, but you're back here, same thing. You're the selfless self, and this is the instrument that you're using to perform these different various things, but none of it is attracted or attached to you.